Hello everyone, I'm Ryan Lang, also known as the Mind Player, and I'm joined by my good friends.
I'm Cassie.
I'm Tim.
I'm Cameron.
And together we all make
Twilight Enigma.
Yeah, well, welcome. Today we are going to go over the fighter class, continuing our previews of all the classes. As always, this is kind of why would you want to play a fighter, what's narratively special about them, and hopefully we don't get too much into the weeds of mechanics today.
Yeah, I think this one's a little less controversial than the cleric. So
Yes.
yeah, we'll get into it. So the fighter. In the past, the fighter has maybe been labeled as a bit of a boring D&D class.
No.
Guy with
That's how I
sword,
viewed it.
maybe.
Not gonna lie.
But there's a lot more to it, obviously. There's a lot of underrated aspects of this class for the people that just kind of pass it off as, oh yeah, guy with lots of weapons.
The fighter is, well, paladin might be my favorite, but the fighter was my first love of D&D.
Yeah, it's great. Casters in the game might be like sweating over spell slots and worrying about consistent damage with whatever spells they're using, but you are a machine of relentless efficiency as a fighter.
Yeah.
Like your whole bread and butter is combat. So who is this class for? I would say players who enjoy tactical positioning and want their gear to feel as important as a spell book to a caster. Mm-hmm. A lot of your kit is really important as a fighter. Why it might be fun, I think fun in D&D is related a lot to combat performance. Mm-hmm. And I that's the fighter's thing. Yeah. So, if you're really interested in like the martial combat side of things, fighter could definitely be for you. They get a lot more ability score improvements, more than any other class, in fact, which means they have more opportunities for ability score adjustments and feats, making them one of the most customizable classes in the game.
Pair them with a paladin and their saving throws go through the roof.
Yeah, right? Why this class could be frustrating for somebody, it's fundamentally kind of a linear class in a world of like exponential magic. Mm-hmm. So, the wizard might be like rewriting reality with crazy 9th level spells or something, while you get to hit something 3 times, which on the surface maybe doesn't sound as exciting, but in the game it actually can be really awesome. So you might not, if you're somebody who craves like narrative warping powers, this might feel a little grounded or basic compared to like cosmic power magic casting. So if that sounds like something that might frustrate you, then maybe the fighter's not for you. As far as the theme and fantasy of the class, fighters are characters that aren't necessarily born with magic. They didn't make a deal with a devil. Everything you can do, you earned through sweat, blood, thousands of hours of practice. Mm-hmm. Fighters are people like combat veterans, weapon collectors, reluctant prodigy, someone unnatural with a sword, maybe trying to decide how they use those skills.
But there was another YouTube video, I really wish I remembered who it was, but I heard them say the reason they love the fighter is because in this world of wizards and great powers, you are literally somebody with a sword who picks it up and fights for good because you can.
Yes.
And if that sounds like a character you want to be, this is the class.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, if you want to be the one that's like holding back the enemy horde by reliably dealing damage, doing more attacks, and being hard to take down. Yep. This is it. Yeah. So let's talk about their kind of core identity, the strengths of the fighter, all the weapons. Yeah. All the armor. Yep. And all the attacks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great survivability, lots of customization, and it feels strong at pretty much every level.
And we have to state action surge.
Oh yeah. It's a good one.
Yeah,
that's kind of one of their core mechanics. Weaknesses for the fighter, limited out of combat class features. A lot of your class features are geared towards combat, makes sense. You might not quite have as much narrative flash as a spellcaster might have doing weird utility spells. So it might feel straightforward if you're into that and if you don't engage tactically. Core mechanics, extra combat actions, so extra attacks and also action surge.
Which allows you to take another action in a turn.
That's right.
Nobody else can do that in the entire game.
Yeah, which is really excellent, especially when you get to like 3 attacks, because that means 1 action means 3 attacks. Action surge means 3 more attacks. So
Dang.
it's pretty intense.
That's
You also have a little ability to heal yourself, which
Yes.
is great.
Yep.
Yeah. Your primary role as the fighter is going to be frontline defender and damage dealer, tactical controller through like positioning and pressure of the enemies on the battlefield. You're going to be the one that is standing in the doorway so the monsters can't reach the party, proceeding to turn the boss into Swiss cheese. You're the guy that's just getting in there, blocking stuff, slashing things to pieces.
Yep.
The class really shines when combat is tactical and dynamic. So if you're in kind of an interesting battlefield and there's like really important stakes, you can shine here. You have the ability to adjust your current combat situation. When the casters run out of spells and when the party needs someone dependable, you'll be there.
Yep.
This class can struggle if maybe the enemy is flying 60 feet in the air and you forgot to bring a longbow, or if you're playing a campaign that's maybe less combat focused.
Yes.
That's
Yep.
where I would say it could be. Yeah.
Yep. But even then, they're very athletic, so you can find ways to shine in non-combat situations as well.
Yeah,
So-
for sure.
It's a bit harder.
And the subclasses too, they do provide a little bit of extra narrative flair depending what you've picked. So, we talked about it being like stereotypically boring. It's not at all. And, we'll talk a little bit more about like, some role play stuff that you can do with it. But, yeah. How the class plays, complexity I would say is low to medium, depending on like what subclass you choose. Some of them get a little intense, I think, but that's just me. It's pretty easy to learn, but it rewards like smart decision making. Like if you're the tactical person, then this is a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, you can do some cool stuff. Resource management for this class, you got things to keep track of. Like your second wind, which is your healing ability, or your action surges. Mostly it'll be deciding like which features or weapon masteries you're using in combat, because you'll have a lot of options. And depending on your your subclass, you may have a lot of extra options. I'm looking at the Battle Master for that one, which is where we're going to go next.
yeah,
Let's talk about
let's
subclasses and start there.
Let's talk about the Battle Master. So the Battle Masters have studied the art of combat, and they're really, really good at it. Like Masters. Superior at it, pun intended.
Yeah.
So this is definitely the subclass for you if you want to commit as much real-world time to studying combat as your character commits in
Yes,
game.
actually though.
I'm kidding a little bit, but for real though, 3 full pages in the player's handbook dedicated only to this subclass is insane for a subclass. So we're gonna move through it. I'll go really quick. We are not gonna dive into all of the weeds here. But so the Battle Master kind of like core mechanics that they get to use. At level 3, you get a pool of superiority dice. And these dice, they start at 4 d8s in your pool. That does go up to 6 dice in the pool later as you level up, and it also increases to a d10 and then later a d12 at higher levels. And you can spend these dice mostly for maneuvers, and then there are a couple other things that they can spend them for as well. And these maneuvers, there's a whole page of them. There are 20 that you can choose from.
Yes.
You become a Swiss Army knife.
Yes.
Like
This is where the tactics come in
It is
heavily.
super
Yeah.
duper tactical, and it is really cool. I am not going to go through what all of the maneuvers are. Maybe we can make an entire separate video for that.
You would have to, yeah.
But at level 3, you get to pick 3, and then at certain levels, as you're leveling up, you get to add additional maneuvers to your little collection of maneuvers that you can do. So you spend one of your superiority dice, and you can do something amazing. Most of them are adding that superiority die as extra damage in additional to some other effect. There's also some that can reduce damage that you take. There's some that can command your allies. There's some that can give temporary hit points. There is a ton you can work with. So go ahead and pick your flavor that you want to do to really master the art of battle and do really, really cool things in combat.
Yeah.
Also at level 3,
Oh, sorry.
you get Student the of War, you get additional proficiency with a type of tools. I think that's lame. Maybe I'm wrong, but other than thieves' tools, I don't think I have used any tools in actual gameplay.
Wow,
other than for just
you're calling me out as a bad DM.
Maybe I'm playing it wrong, but anyway, that is also in there. Level 7, you get an ability called Know Your Enemy, which you can use a bonus action to look at an enemy in 30 feet, and you get to know what they are resistant to or immune to or vulnerable to, which can be a really cool ability. If you are super familiar with D&D already and just know the monsters, then that's kind of, I mean...
Yeah, you've already
you shouldn't
got
be
that.
using out-of-character knowledge, but it's hard not to.
Yeah.
And level 15, a really cool ability is Relentless. So once per turn, every turn, if you're doing a maneuver, instead of spending a die from your superiority pool, which is a D10 at this point, you can use a D8 instead without spending a die. So just every turn you can do a maneuver. Your pool is basically infinite, which is epic.
So when you run out of the better dice, you can just downgrade and infinitely do it. That's crazy.
For sure. So, yeah, that is the Battle Master. They think they're better than you because they are.
Well,
they are.
Well, let's talk about the champion next.
Okay.
The champion is the Battle Master's polar opposite.
Oh, okay.
In every single way. The champion, by the way, is my favorite subclass of
Fighter. Yeah.
fighter. Yes, although I do really like the mind mage guy.
The
I
Psy Warrior.
Thank you,
Psy
Psy
Warrior.
Warrior. But the champion, if you want just the simplest rule set ever, go with the champion, and you won't be disappointed.
No, you won't.
Because what they do is at level 3, now you critically hit on 19s and 20s. You have a 10% chance of critically hitting instead of a 5. You also get better at your athletics checks and advantage to like dexterity checks, initiative checks. You get more fighting styles. You then later during combat, you just give yourself heroic inspiration if you don't have it.
Okay.
Every turn.
Great.
Every single turn.
Yep.
You're like, I
Yeah.
inspire myself.
That's a lot of
actually.
advantages.
Every single turn. And then also, as you go up further at level 15, you can now score a critical hit on a roll of 18. So you have a 15% chance of critical hits. By the way, I just want to say that you have advantage. You know, one of the base fighter mechanics is you get advantage if you miss someone.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I don't remember that.
So, yes, level 13, studied attacks. You study your opponents and learn from each attack you make. If you make an attack roll against a creature and miss, you have advantage on your next attack roll against the creature before the start of your next turn.
Like you've learned something after missing.
Yes.
That's
Plus,
great.
now you also have heroic inspiration.
That's a lot of advantages.
A lot of it. So you have a lot of chances to get critical hits that hit on 18s.
Yeah.
Right? Anyways, and then at level 18, you have advantage on death saving throws. And also, you start healing every turn if you're below half health.
Great.
So that is it. That's all the champion is.
That is
and
so
I love them.
Simple but very effective.
Beautifully beginner friendly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at level 20, I think, don't you get so you get 3 extra attacks, and also you have more action surges. Yes. So at level 17, you get 2 action surges. So a level 20 champion is critical hitting on 18s with advantage, plus more advantage.
Plus more advantages.
And they will attack 4 times. And then they will action surge, and they will attack 4 times. They're probably going to crit on 2 of those.
Oh, yeah.
And then you can't action surge twice on turn. The next turn, they will do that again. I don't care who you are, DM, but your big, bad, evil monster is not surviving 16 attacks from a champion that's probably critically hitting on 4 of those.
Yeah.
Anyways,
insane.
that is the champion. They are simple. They are amazing. I love them. Let's talk about
Bread
the
and butter.
spell casting.
Yeah, so Eldritch Knight, that was mine. So Eldritch Knights combine sort of the martial side with a careful study of magic. So they get a little bit of magic in this subclass. The spells complement and extend their combat skills. So rather than them being a full spellcaster, Eldritch Knights use magic to enhance what they already do well. Survive longer, control space, hit harder at the right moment, the usual things. So some of their signature abilities include some limited spell casting that comes from the wizard's spell list, small but flexible selection of wizard spells and cantrips that are focused on defense, utility, and selective offense. And this uses your intelligence modifier. So if you are going to go for this subclass, that's something to look out for. You know, if you've chosen intelligence as a dump stat, you may have a rough time with this subclass. And it may be a little disappointing for you. War Bond is another ability. This means that your weapon is never truly gone. You can't be disarmed under normal circumstances, and you can magically summon your weapon back to your hand, which is great. You also have War Magic, which means you can weave magic into combat, replacing one of your attacks with a cantrip, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you aren't struggling to hit the person 60 foot in the air.
That's right. That would solve that problem. Yep. Eldritch Strike. So your weapon attacks weaken enemies against your spells, letting you set up powerful follow-up magic. And then your Arcane Charge, which means when you action surge, you can just teleport across the battlefield, which is great. More combat options. And then at higher levels, you can replace multiple attacks with leveled spells, which is pretty cool. So you could be hitting and casting leveled spells. And again, since I always try to find an example for this subclass, I'm going to say Thor.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people would maybe think of Thor as maybe something more religious based, but sure, he's a god, but like the War Bond weapon and the ability to use magic, that's Thor. Right?
What about
That's very
Alphonse?
cool.
Alphonse? I could,
I don't know who that is.
Full Metal
from
Alchemist.
Full Metal Alchemist, that could work. Another one I thought is Geralt from The Witcher.
Oh, there you
I
go.
think he's pretty much fits as well.
He's basically all of these put together.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, that's all for Eldritch Knight. That's pretty much the flavor there. So I guess the next one is the Psy Warrior. Yeah.
This one is not a spellcaster in that they don't use spell slots, but they get psionic energy dice at level 3 when you choose this subclass. So Psy Warriors awaken the power of their minds to augment their physical might and the things around them. When you first get these psionic energy dice, you can use them for a few different things. You can use telekinetic powers to cast a protective shield on yourself or others. You can make your weapon hit harder. So you hit, I believe it's once it hits, you can choose to use a psionic dice to make it like thrust harder in. And then there's also force damage added on. And you can move people or items with your mind, and if it's a small item, you can just summon it to your hand.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah. Then as you level up, you master more ways to use your telekinetic power. So then you can jump super far. Super far.
That sounds
Like,
so fun.
I as I was reading that, I was picturing Elle in the last season of Stranger Things, how she's like, Yeah.
Yep.
super far jumps. And you can also telekinetically shove your enemies in battle, which causes some damage, and you can, I don't know, push them over an edge or something. As you continue to level up, you then gain resistance to psychic damage, and you also have the chance to remove any effects on you. If you start a turn with something that affects your mind, like charmed or frightened, you have the chance to get rid of those effects.
Nice.
Because your mind is strong. And then, continuing to level up, your protective mind shield becomes a lot more powerful. Now you can cover a lot more people, not just one person. And it gives you half cover, I believe. It's, quite strong. You got this little mind shield protecting everyone around you.
Yep,
Then,
half cover.
At level 18, you always have the telekinesis spell prepared, and you can cast it without a spell slot, without spell components. It's just your mind is strong, and you got that going.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
and after you've done that, it doesn't just end. You can spend a die to keep doing it.
yeah, you can
Yeah.
continue it. Yeah. as long as you can concentrate. I mean, until the spell
Yeah.
ends. But
Yeah.
yeah. So for this one, I already said it reminds me of 11 from Stranger Things. There's definitely a lot of elements there with like just using your mind to shove people and to jump far and that kind of thing. I've also, don't judge me, I've never fully seen it, but I think,
You're getting judged right now.
especially from
Do
Ryan,
you feel this? I don't know. What are you going to say?
I think that this sounds like Jedi or Sith, right? Like,
There's some force power
There's some
crossover
force
there.
power
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it works.
That works.
Yeah, definitely.
but I've never fully, I'm just like,
Judgment.
yeah, I know.
Shame.
I know.
Shame.
I've seen some of them a long time ago. I just never watched them all.
Shame. Let her know her shame in the
No.
comments,
No.
please.
It's
All right.
okay. It's
Yeah,
okay.
it's all right. Okay, so those were the subclasses.
Do it.
Her
Nice.
real shame is not having watched Lord of the Rings. That's the bigger
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't finished that.
See?
one
That's
either.
okay.
problem. Now I'll give her a shame.
That one I'll allow. Yeah. No.
Moving on.
Okay, yes. Let's talk a bit about like role play story potential with the fighter. So like,
Sky's the limit.
yeah, really,
True.
there's a lot of things you could do. Like common backstory hooks, like if we're talking your basic things that work well with a fighter. I mean, former soldier trying to leave a war behind, knight seeking redemption or purpose, somebody trained from childhood for violence and now maybe questioning why. A simple farmhand who found a very high quality sword in the mud and realized they had a natural gift for it. Stereotypes here, like obviously we encourage you to subvert those. But like, here's some stereotypes, boring warrior or guy that's all about weapons, change that up, give them ideals, fears, history, maybe explore what violence has cost them or like what their training has cost them,
Story time.
All
You
right,
talking about
yeah.
backstories? So I saw the Psy Warrior, fell in love with it, right? My first D&D character was I wanted to play a Mind Flayer Psy Warrior. And I kid you not, I got so many people like, oh, you're one of those guys. That's impossible. There's no such thing as a good Mind Flayer. Blah, 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 blah. And do you know what? I mean, laugh in all your faces right now. Because if you played Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
or if you've played Out of the Abyss, they're in there. So, anyways, yeah.
That's right.
Go and homebrew whatever monsters you want.
Yeah.
Play them.
Hey,
It's fun.
Have fun. It's D&D.
That's right. That's the point of it. And tell a great story and have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what we always like to encourage. So, yeah. Thoughts, tips, and ideas for the fighter. I mean, you can always make combat more exciting by sort of describing your attacks. And with weapon masteries in the new edition, it makes it a lot easier to do that. Like your weapons are actually able to do special little things. So you've got opportunities to describe how that
And
works
the
or how that
battle
works.
master maneuvers lean themselves
Oh,
into
yes.
that really, really well.
100% they
Yes.
would.
Like if you have ever found yourself being like, with this attack, can I do it in like this special way so that this effect will probably happen? Usually your DM's like, that's not how this game works. Play Battle Master.
Yep.
You can do it.
Yeah, I'm sure one of those like 20 some options will have what you're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. Another thing is like consider leaning into who taught you or how you gained your skill, like what part of your identity, is what you've, already survived doing. Like, I think thinking about how you are your class is like one of the things that people should do more in D&D. Like, there's a reason your character does the things you do. How did it happen? If you lean into that more, it's easier to sort of create interesting stories with them. Yeah, I think there's a lot of great story potential in fighters, especially when you look at abilities and consider those things, and maybe like why your character chooses to use those abilities. The fighter class, I think, is meant to prove that heroism doesn't require magic, which is a great thing to have for D&D. A lot of the classes in D&D, the majority of them use magic. So this is a great opportunity for the people that don't, and there's plenty of great stories to tell about that, I think. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of it about the fighter, all that I had to say. So if you guys have any good stories about fighters, cool characters you've been, maybe you've got something you think's better than Ryan's Mind Flayer Psy Warrior.
Play a Mind Flayer.
Yeah, tell us about it. Tell us about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, do you,
I think I'm sold on it. I think I might try a fighter soon.
Yeah.
my party loved the Mind Flayer guy. I'm just saying.
There you go.
So, anyways, yeah, let us know in the comments, please. And join us next time when we review The Monk.
Oh boy, the monk in the new version.
I do love monks.
It's
Monks are
something
so
else.
much fun.
Yeah, get ready.
Get ready. That one might be
Yay.
controversial. We'll see.
Yeah, could be.
All right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for watching.